Yes, next order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I have some communication to make here concerning suspension of committee sittings during the long recess. Honorable members, as notified in today's order paper, at the rise of this sitting, the House is scheduled to proceed to its long recess from tomorrow, Thursday, 7th December 2023, to resume its sittings on Monday, 12th February 2024, by its calendar as approved on Monday, 13th February 2023. Today's sittings therefore mark the conclusion of the regular sittings of the Third Assembly second session. Honorable members, during this session, we have managed to transact key business of the House, including approval of the County Integrated Development Plan, CIDP 2023-2027, budget estimates financial year 2023-2024, overseeing the charter of 3 towns, Watamu, Mariakani, and Mtwapa, to municipalities, passage of the Kilifi County Community Health Services Bill 2023, the Kilifi County Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Bill 2023, the Kilifi County Climate Change Amendment Bill 2023, and the Kilifi County Microfinance, which was called Mbegu Fund, Amendment Bill 2023, which transformed it to Wezesha Fund. Noteworthy is the fact that during this session, cultism took a serious toll on in the county, to the extent that people used to call us a Mackenzie County, if you remember, members. While the House was leading the charge to denounce this behavior and established an ad hoc committee to look into it, a more comprehensive report on the activities of the House will be contained on the session paper on the business of the Assembly, which the clerk will prepare. Honorable members, as an established practice, committee activities are usually interrupted during this December to February long recess. In this regard, the House is notified that all committee activities shall stand suspended from Monday 11th December 2023 to Monday 12th February 2024. Consequently, no committee activities shall be conducted during the said period unless my office grants special consideration upon written request. To safeguard business with satisfactory timelines from lapsing during the period, the counting of the days for such business shall cease and resume when the House first sits for the third session on 12th February 2024. I'm compelled to remind members that should the need for the House to be recalled to transact any urgent business pursuant to Standing Order 26, you will be notified accordingly. Honorable members, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the House leadership, members and staff for their efforts and devotion during the session in the processing and transaction of businesses, both in plenary and in committees. In conclusion, honorable members, I would like to take this early opportunity to wish you all a good holiday season and a prosperous New Year 2024 as you continue to serve your people and enjoy time with your loved ones. May God take extra care of every one of us here. Thank you very much. Let's proceed.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
Yes, who is moving? chairperson or any member from the public, from the Committee on County Public Investment and Accounts? Your request is yet to be not, okay. Honorable Morgan or Honorable Mwambire Mohammed?
Sorry, to be on record, Mr. Speaker, it's Honorable Mwambire Mohammed. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the chairperson PICPA committee, I will wish to move the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Accounts on consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Municipality of Malindi for the financial year ending 30th June 2020 and 2021, laid on the table of this House on 4th December 2023. Mr. Speaker, before I call Honorable Tom Chengo, the Minority Leader, to second the report, I wish to submit my submission that this report the committee dealt with was a qualified report. Both 2 years were qualified, and the report, in summary, the report is as follows. That the committee scrutinized the Auditor's General report for the municipality of Malindi and observed the following points. 1, performance during the audit exercise. The committee noted poor performance by the accounting officers by failure to respond to the management letters raised by the auditors during the audit process. It was the committee's observation that most of the queries, 80% of the queries, could have been sufficiently answered if there were cooperation between the accounting officers and the auditors. 2, there were poor response of the audit queries from the account department of the municipality of Malindi. That's why all these queries were raised. Late submission of responses by the auditors, because by the time we were scrutinizing, some of the evidence or responses had not been given by the municipality. Rather, when the committee requested for that evidence is when it was provided. So they were late. If most of these queries had been sufficiently answered and cooperation between the auditors and the municipality, most of these queries could have been sorted out. So the committee recommended that going forward, accounting officers should take the prompt action on auditors general reports, and those who don't cooperate will be sanctioned. Because the auditors, when they are at the municipality's offices, we expect as a committee that the officers cooperate with the auditors and answer most of the queries which otherwise the queries were answered at the committee level, which if they could have answered all these queries, such queries would not have emerged up to the final level of the report. The second one was autonomy of the municipalities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee noted with concern that the municipality of Malindi was very dependent to the Department of Lands and did not serve as a separate entity, because most of the activities are still headed by the department, and the municipalities are supposed to be monotone. The committee had several cases. 1, delays in disbursement of funds from the department. The municipalities have been raising requisitions, but the requisitions have been, there has been delays of disbursement of funds, hence affected the budget. The absorption rate of the budget was a bit low. They could not spend the budget as they had requested, because the disbursement of the funds was a bit low. It was a bit delayed. 2, lack of proper integration and cooperation in the procurement process. there were some tenders which the municipalities are not able to handle. Rather, those procurement processes are done at the department level, which makes or gives no autonomy or control or cooperation by the municipality on this. While when we call here, we don't call the Department of Land, rather we call the municipality management. So when they come here, they also cite on issues that, the certain document is with the department, a certain document could not be, they could not get a certain document because it lies with the department. 3, lack of release of documents needed for audit verification. Some of the audit verification documents could not be obtained at the municipality management offices because the process of procurement was done at the department level. So these were concerns which were noted by the committee. The committee noted that this lack of effective autonomy of the municipalities was largely attributed to the Department of Lands not fully delegating the functions, funds, and people to municipality as authorized in the law. So the committee noted that and recommended that the municipalities should be given an autonomy so that they can perform their duties effectively and serve the people of Kilifi in their area of jurisdiction. The 4th point that the committee noticed was unsupported expenditure. There were expenditures which were spent by the municipality of Malindi, but when you request for supportive documents on those expenditure, the municipality could not avail the document to support some of the expenditures that they had. So the committee recommends that the accounting officers should institute strict measures to ensure that municipality has in place proper records system. The committee further recommends that the accounting officers must ensure strict adherence to Section 149 of the Public Finance Act 2012. The committee further recommends that unsupported and irregular expenditure should be recovered from the accounting officers responsible, and a report should be submitted to the county assembly within 90 days after the adoption of this report, failure to which the matter will be referred to ethics and anti-corruption for further investigative with the intention to prosecute those responsible. In this matter, it was very serious that expenditures, some lines of expenditures are spent by the municipality and they cannot support. They don't have supportive document, which the committee noted it was a serious mistake, and they have given them upon, if this house today adopts the report, 90 days for them to submit a written report with the verification of the unsupported documents. Otherwise, the report will be forwarded to ethics and anti-corruption for investigative and prosecution. So for that matter, I wish to call Honorable Tom Chengo to second the report. Thank you.
Thank you. I support.
Honorable members, I propose that this House adopt the report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Accounts on consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Municipality of Malindi for the financial year ending 30th June 2020 and 2021, laid on the table of this House on the 4th day of December 2023. Members, you are now free to comment on it. Honorable Mwangi. Sorry. Honorable Tom Chengo.
Thank you.
The leader of minority.
Thank you, Speaker.
Sorry, I was thinking that I was giving an opportunity to the minority whip, but leader of minority, you can proceed first.
She can always handle my issues when I'm away, so it's quite in order, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity, and I want to take this very opportunity also to wish all members happy holidays as we move to the long recess. And as you celebrate, kindly remember Kilifi still needs you, and we need you back here by February. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity also to support the adoption of this very report on the Committee on PICPAC. And as the Vice Chair was highlighting, he mentioned about a qualified report. And for the benefit of the House and those who are watching us from the social media handles, I wish to explain to them what a qualified report is. Mr. Speaker, a qualified report by the auditor refers to reports with certain discrepancies. And these financial discrepancies are the ones that are called the qualifications. That's when it is termed as a qualified report. So the discrepancies is, as he was highlighting, the reasons behind the discrepancies based on the engagements between the auditor and the officers under the financial dockets. Mr. Speaker, we had a very hard time in handling these reports, and I want to put it very clear before this House, Mr. Speaker, and submit a very humble request to this House that the PICPAC committee has got a very huge workload to handle. The reports that come before this committee are very many and very heavy, and it's very unfortunate as a committee we are allocated the same budget with the other committees. I simply think the committee should be given a different consideration when it comes to these allocations based on the work that it handles, so that in future we can handle these matters as required in good time. That is a very humble request to this House, so that next time we shall submit these reports in good time. Mr. Speaker, going forward, I want to highlight a very few issues that we encountered as a committee in coming up with these reports. And these are very critical reports, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to public funds. These are reports which touches on the usage of the public funds. As a House, we appropriate a budget here, and after the budget, the executive are left with the burden of making sure that they utilize the budget in a manner that does not even indicate any slightest of doubt in usage of the funds that are allocated to this very county. The county refers to us here as Kilifi, and the people of Kilifi are very keen to make sure that they see how well these funds are utilized. That's why now when these reports come, Mr. Speaker, we as a committee, we take a lot of concern in it, and we take a lot of time in making sure that whatever is being reported here contains exactly what should be reported. And Mr. Speaker, I want to be very categorical here that the officers and the accounting officers were really put to task during the committee to explain certain queries that the Auditor General had raised. And Mr. Speaker, it is very clear that these officers sometimes, they are the ones who cultivate these queries because of their failure to engage the auditor during the audit period. You see, the audit period is very, very clear, Mr. Speaker, and the engagement there takes a lot of time. And if the accounting officers and the officers under them can strictly adhere to the instructions of the auditor, these queries can surely be addressed. And if it cannot be addressed, Mr. Speaker, that surely tells you there is something wrong, or maybe the funds were not utilized as required. But if indeed they were used as required, it is easier and very clear, Mr. Speaker, that you can address these queries. But many times when the auditor comes, they fail to submit the necessary documents as requested by the auditors, so it makes it very difficult now to account for the usage of these funds. That's why at the end, Mr. Speaker, we end up with very many and weird queries from the auditor. That's why, Mr. Speaker, we end up getting these qualified reports. It's my sincere hope that in future we shall be getting unqualified reports, Mr. Speaker, a report that has very, very minimal queries, Mr. Speaker, or even none, because it is very possible, Mr. Speaker. These are people who are qualified and they were employed to execute these roles. So being in those offices, they are not supposed to sit there in their comfort zones, but they are supposed to be there and make sure that they cooperate and do the right thing as required by the law. it is very evident that, Mr. Speaker, the reporting is required by the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Any matters that involves public funds, they should be aware that reporting to the public is very, very mandatory, Mr. Speaker. So, and this is one way of now reporting back to the public on how these funds were utilized. So, Mr. Speaker, as a committee, we are delighted today that we are submitting this report for adoption, and I'm quite sure that the officers, with the engagement that we had, they will adhere to the instructions and the very recommendations that the committee has recommended, so that in the future, as a county, we can look forward and make sure that we are using our time well, and even the funds that are there are utilized well for future benefit to the county. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to labor much. With those few remarks, I want to say I strongly support the adoption of this report, and also request our honorable members, good friends of us, that we unanimously adopt this report, because it all dwells on us, because funds that are utilized, they cut across the whole county. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Honorable Mwangi. I was giving you an opportunity, then it ended up going to the leader of minority. Do you have something to? So you reserve your comment for now? Okay. I'm not seeing requests, so I might end up give an opportunity to the mover to respond if there is no one who is ready to, or who is having anything to share. Should they give it to the mover to respond? Yes, make your request. You have not made your request. How can I give you an opportunity and you have not made a request?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the honorable members of the House for their submissions on the report. And I don't want to take much time on this. I just beg and wish that they support the report. Thank you.
Honorable members, allow me to put the question that this House adopt the report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Accounts on consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Municipality of Malindi for the financial year ending 30th June 2020 and 2021, laid on the table of this House on the 4th day of December 2023. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, the next motion. Chairperson Implementation Committee. Honorable Changawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for awarding me this time. To move the following motion, the report of the Implementation Committee on the status of the implementation of the Assembly resolution on massive environmental degradation by quarry operating companies in Jaribuni Ward, that this House adopts the report of the Implementation Committee on the status of implementation of the Assembly resolution on massive environmental degradation by quarry operating companies in Jaribuni Ward, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, 5th December this year. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to put my submission before I call upon my seconder. Mr. Speaker, sir, on Tuesday, 28th March this year, the County Assembly adopted the report by the Committee on Water, Environmental and Natural Resources on the site visit to Jaribuni Ward to ascertain the massive environmental degradation by quarry operating companies. An implementation status report forwarded to the committee on Monday, 20th June this year. by the County Executive Committee member of, for Water, Environmental, Climate Change, Natural Resource, and Solid Waste Management Department. In considering the report as implementation committee, the committee conducted a site visit meetings to Yaribuni this year with a view of collecting facts which helped the committee in coming up with the recommendations to this house. The committee then invited the county executive committee member for water, environment, climate change, natural resource, and solid waste management to consultative meeting to ascertain the steps the CSM had taken to ensure that the resolution of the house had been implemented. Mr. Speaker, sir, we looked at the resolutions made by this house vis-a-vis the CSM submissions, and we came up with the following observations and recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the County Executive Committee member did not adhere to the resolutions passed on the House pursuant to Standing Order 190, and that there was a major delay in implementing the recommendations, resulting in most of the issues being outstanding for long. Second, that Hunan Road and Bridge Construction Group Company Limited had opened a new quarrying site less than 50 meters from Mitangani Primary School. That Surya Developments Limited, which was situated close to Mitangani Primary School, was still operating even after being ordered to stop operations since November in the year 2021. That the County Executive Committee member in charge of water, environment, forestry, natural resources, and solid waste management issued improvement notice to the quarry owners after being reminded of the implementation status of the House resolution. Therefore, the committee came up with the following recommendations. One, the County Executive Committee member for water, environment, and natural resources should take the resolutions of this House with the seriousness it deserves by implementing House resolutions in accordance with the timelines provided, or face sanctions for failure to act on County Assembly resolutions. Fast track the formation of the County Artisanal Mining Committee and report back on its progress 2 weeks after the adoption of the report. Hunan Road and Bridge Construction Group Company Limited and Surya Developments Limited, operating in close proximity to Mitangani Primary School, should stop operations immediately. A report on the same should be submitted to this House within 2 weeks after adoption of this report. The County Executive Committee member in charge of environment should collaborate with national government enforcement agencies to ensure that China Seafood Company relocate the mountains of ballast that block the water spring of Nzovuni and report to this House within 2 weeks after the adoption of this report. The county should revoke county consent for quarrying to mining companies which failed to adhere to the law and resolutions of this House. Mr. Speaker, sir, with that few submission, allow me to call upon Honorable Mariam Nkumbi to second this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to second the report.
Honorable members, I propose that this House adopt the report of the Implementation Committee on the status of implementation of the Assembly resolution on massive environmental degradation of degradation by quarry operating companies in Jaribuni Ward, laid on the table of this House on the Tuesday, 5th December 2023. Those who are willing to make a comment. Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to appreciate the contribution from the Implementation Committee and wish to comment as follows. This company, the Chinese, are doing some quarry activities just 50 meters from Mitangani Primary. This one is a big challenge to our officers that give permission to such companies to operate with a lot of ego. They are so selfish. One, they don't care about the environment that is involving the school, primary school students, pupils that are learning, and even though they have been requested to close or relocate that school, they have